Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're in a room, a meeting, a conversation, a situation that matters, and you say something smart, something real, and the response you get is not engagement. It is not respect. It is that look. The one that says, oh, that's cute. She has opinions. And the worst part, you are not imagining it. It is real. And it happens specifically because of how young you are, because of how you look, because of your energy, which is warm and vibrant and alive. And somehow the world has decided that those things are the opposite of serious. Zendaya was told the same thing repeatedly by an entire industry. And what she did about it is one of the most quietly powerful lessons in how to be young, respected, and completely yourself at the same time. Hey loves, welcome back to Life with Joy. I'm Joy, and today we are breaking down the Zendaya effect. What it is, why it works, and exactly how you can apply it to your own life, whether you are in a workplace, a creative space, a relationship, or just trying to figure out how to take up space without apology. Let's get into it. Okay, so let me tell you something about Zendaya that most people gloss over because they're too focused on the red carpet moments and the magazine covers. Zendaya Marie Stormer Coleman started as a Disney child. Shake it up, 13 years old, dancing in a sparkly outfit on a kids' television show. And the entertainment industry, which has a very specific and very limited idea of what talent looks like and where it goes, looked at her and made certain assumptions. She was young, she was pretty, she was light and fun, and in their mind, that was probably going to be the ceiling. She decided the ceiling did not apply to her. By the time she was in her early 20s, she had produced her own projects, chosen roles that the industry did not expect her to choose, spoken about race and representation in rooms that were not ready for that conversation, and built a personal brand so distinctive and so intentional that she became one of the most referenced names in fashion, film, and culture simultaneously. And she did all of this without becoming cold, without becoming hard, without stripping out the warmth and the realness and the personality that made people love her in the first place. So, what exactly is the Zendaya effect? Because it is more specific than just be yourself and people will respect you. Let me break it down. The first thing, she never performed youth as an apology. There is a thing that young women do. I have done it, you have probably done it, where we subconsciously perform our youth as an apology for taking up space. We make ourselves smaller. We speak more softly. We add qualifiers to everything. We laugh off our own ideas before someone else can dismiss them. We pre apologize for being in the room. Zendaya never did this. Not once. She spoke about her work with the same weight that people twice her age spoke about theirs. Not arrogantly, she was never arrogant, just evenly. Like her perspective had value, like she had thought about it seriously, like she expected to be heard. That energy that settled, even unbothered certainty, is what made people sit up because you cannot dismiss someone who has not given you permission to dismiss them. The second thing, she was excellent before she demanded the room. Euphoria was not luck. Challengers was not luck. Every major role she has taken on, she was prepared for in a way that made it impossible to argue with. She did not ask people to take her seriously and then deliver average work. She delivered the work first. The respect followed because there was no alternative. This is the thing young women sometimes miss. Being yourself is powerful. Being excellent is powerful. Being both at the same time is unstoppable. The third thing, she picked her moments. Zendaya is incredibly intentional about when she speaks and what she says publicly. She is not everywhere. She is not saying everything. She chooses her interviews, her projects, her public statements with a level of discernment that most people twice her age do not have. And that selectivity, that restraint makes every time she does speak feel significant. Okay, so how do you actually live this in your real life, your real workplace, your real relationships, your real creative space? Stop pre apologizing for your age. The moment you walk into a room and lead with, I know I'm young, but you have already handed them the dismissal. You wrote the review for them. Stop giving people the ammunition to underestimate you before you have even shown them who you are. Walk in, speak your thing, let it stand on its own. Your age is not a disclaimer that needs to be attached to every opinion you have. Be genuinely, undeniably good at your thing. This is not negotiable. The Zendaya effect only works because Zendaya is genuinely excellent. The confidence without the competence is just noise. Get so good at what you do that your age becomes irrelevant context rather than the headline. What are you working on right now? Whatever it is, give it everything. Not because you have something to prove, because excellence is the language that every room understands regardless of how old you are. Develop your aesthetic and own it completely. One of the most powerful things about Zendaya is that she has a completely recognizable personal aesthetic. You know a Zendaya look when you see it. You know her energy. There is a consistency to how she shows up in fashion, in interviews, in the projects she chooses that makes her feel like a fully formed person rather than someone still figuring out who they are. What is your aesthetic? What is your consistent energy? What do people know about you before you open your mouth? If you cannot answer that, work on it. Because a woman with a clear, consistent identity reads as someone to take seriously regardless of her age. Use your youth as information, not as a weakness. Here is the thing that older people in rooms sometimes forget: your age gives you a perspective they do not have. You understand things they are trying to figure out. You see things they are paying consultants to explain to them. Your closeness to a generation, to a cultural moment, to a way of experiencing the world, that is not a disadvantage, that is insight. Bring it like it is insight, because it is. Sit with this. Being young is not a problem to overcome. It is a season, and like every season, it comes with specific gifts that you will not have in the same way at any other point in your life. The energy, the hunger, the willingness to try things that people with more to lose will not try, the freshness of perspective, the audacity that comes before the world has had enough time to talk you out of it. The Zendaya effect is not about pretending to be older than you are. It is not about flattening your personality to fit into spaces that were built before you arrived. It is about walking into every room, every single room, as a complete, intentional, fully formed person who happens to also be young. Young and serious. Young and excellent. Young and completely yourself. Those things are not in conflict. They never were. That was just a story someone told you to make you easier to manage. You do not have to wait until you are older to command respect. You do not have to wait until you have more experience to be taken seriously. You do not have to wait until you are someone different to walk in with your head up. You just have to decide right now that the version of you standing here today, this age, this energy, this personality, is already enough to take seriously. Because she is. Save this. Share this with a young woman in your life who needs to hear it. And subscribe if you're new. We keep it real here always. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.